he'll lynch you, but he did, and he laughs.
No, mate, you're a different kettle of fish.
Hi everybody, Ross and the West Ham Network. Hope you are all safe and well in association with our lovely friends out on Tuckit. If you're new and give it a like, give it a comment, give it a share, give it a bloody good subscribe. So a bit different on a Friday today, a bit different. I thought, do you know what? I could come here and rattle off another 20 transfer window rumours. We're going to talk about a few of them tonight at Hammer's Headlines at 5 o'clock. But I thought, let's open up to you guys and see what you want to talk about. That's what we're going to talk about today. Roll those titles, as Anton would say. So, there's loads to talk about. Obviously, we've loads of transfer ins. We're going to talk about tonight at Hammer's Headlines, Keane Lewis Potter. We're going to talk about Areola at 5 o'clock. Obviously, there's been loads of talk yesterday about Soucek, and so I want to get your opinions. What do you think about all these types of things? There's so much going on. I mean, is it Soucek in or check out? That's the question. That is the question. I'm posing you guys today. And where do you want to prioritise? We've got so many. Apparently, we've got these. Moyes wants another 6. He's got to guard it through the door. We'll say Areola's in, so that means for 5. There's 5 left. Who those 5 going to be? What we're going to do as well is get you guys on today. So I'll put the link in the chat. It'll be if you want to come and have a chat. Feel free. We'll have like 5 minutes. You can come on and chat for 5 minutes. Someone else can come on in 5 minutes, and we'll see how we get on. Do not, under any circumstances, mention Lingard. I think that ship has sailed. And I think it's sailed. But then if it comes to like the last day, and he ain't signed anyone, no, he hasn't signed for anyone. Rather, then I think. Anyway, Hammer, hope you're well. Dexter's in the house. Gazza's in. Hope you're well, Gazza. We want players who want to play for the club and not players who want to see which club is going to pay ridiculous wages. Unfortunately, I think that's the modern game, Gazza. I think there's a very small amount of players who are motivated by just success and just their career. It's a very short career being a footballer. And if you can, it's the same. I always apply it to the modern life. If I could do the job I'm doing now for another company for 50% more money, I'd probably go over there. Yeah, I could sit here and talk about, the travel and but pays the bills, isn't it? Pays the bills, and they've, so someone like Lingard, this is his last. I mean, we're not going to mention Lingard, but it's his last opportunity for a big move. And I know he's a multi-millionaire, but there's a reason why people are rich, stay rich, because they want more money and they don't spend it. So, there we go. Rob's still waiting on news. I mean, I'm still waiting on news. I'm always waiting on news. Maybe Areola might be next week. I don't know. I think it's. I think we're going to be maybe. I think we might get Patrick Kelly next week. But I think Areola's runs out the sort of the spell to get the players. I think it runs out the end of the month. So that's next week. And we'll talk about that tonight actually at 5 o'clock at Hammer's Headlines with Fabrizio Romano put a very nice tweet out, really, in all honesty. So yeah. Brentford, we're going to talk about later. It is Friday, another week. Well done, guys. Another week is nearly here. And in terms of what we've got coming up this weekend, tomorrow, talking about Lewis Potter. I think Anton's putting up a show. All you need to know about Lewis Potter or why we should sign Lewis Potter. That'll be up tomorrow. And then Sunday, we've got the next of our series where we're going to be looking at Boogers. Also, thank you to everyone who joined us yesterday for what was meant to be the game show night. It didn't turn out to be quite the game show night. We ended up being an evening with Crossy. An evening with Crossy and Macca. But we had fun anyway, didn't we? We had fun. It was fun. I enjoyed it. It was good. To be honest, I could have literally sat back and just let them talk to each other. It was quite entertaining. I need to go do a count of how many jokes Crossy did. There must be double figures at least. And everyone he got me. But we will be doing the game show. I've set it all up. So that's going to be probably in a couple of weeks' time. And a lot of people that we originally were going to have on, obviously two pulled out. We'll get them back on. I've had letters of apology from both of them today. But also we've got loads of people who are on holiday now who want to do it. So we're going to have quite the star-studded cast, I think. But you keep an eye on that. The only way you know we can, you're not going to miss it is if you hit that bell notification. If you look down there now and that subscribe button is red, not grey, you're not subscribed. So click it and it goes grey. Exciting. Don't do it the other way. Don't click it if it's grey and it goes red. No. And then hit that bell notification. Let's get a few more comments. And if anyone wants to come on, I'll put the link in the chat. Be great to chat to someone today. Let's have a look what we got here. Irons. Check out useless. There we go. I just said, is it check in? Sue check in or Sue check out? Sue check in. The man has been flogged to death the last 2 years. I think they've all been flogged to death. I think Declan Rice has been flogged to death for 2 years as well. Even more so, I think, because I think, he went further in the Euros. But, there's... I hate the expression smoke without fire, but, for someone like Soucek, this is his second round of negotiations for a contract of what we know. It doesn't look like they're coming to an agreement yet. So when's the cut-off point? He's 27. Is he 27? Yeah, 27. So his value is going to be decreasing all the time as his contract runs to an end. I think he's got another 2. I think it's the summer of 2024. So there we go. Harry's in the chats. Hear a lot more from Harry soon on the network. Just keep an eye on that. Some really cool stuff we're going to be doing with Harry soon. Don't want to lose anyone until we sign. I know that's the trouble, Rob, isn't it? I mean, even like Masuaku's not potentially going yet. So, just waiting for Ariel to sign. We're all waiting for Ariel to sign. Don't worry about that. Oi, Happy Hammer says Rob. Luke Legends in the house. Toby. I don't know why fans expect loyalty from players. As soon as they playing badly, the fan base turns them. What loyalty do fans get from us? Players get from us. I agree. Mate. Jimmy Jones, haven't seen you for a while. Hope you're well, my friend. Nice to see you. Any Neymar updates? I don't know. No is the answer. That ship sailed when he was Santos, and we were bidding for 17 million quid for him, wasn't it? Check that out in Retro Rumours. That was one of several rumours we did a couple of weeks ago. Quite funny. Adam, hope you're well. I'm very well. Hope you're well. Saw online that West Ham are keeping an eye on Jan Bednak as Southampton are looking to sell. Confirmed by Alex Crook. We're still being linked with centre backs. I've noticed. There was the guy from Cisse. Is it Cisse from? I can't remember now. He's like a really 6'5" monster. So it's really weird. Obviously, it depends who we sign, but I definitely won't get rid of Soucek, especially how knackered players were last season. Okay, so here we go. If the assumption is, and I think that trouble is when we did the keep loan sell stuff, I think people were worried about selling players. If we could get a replacement for Soucek, so say just theoretically, say we sold Thomas Soucek, but it meant we could finance JWP, or we could finance Calvin Phillips, or we could finance Conor Gallagher. Would you do it? I know one man I want to ask this exact question for. He's got a fag in mouth. I'll wait for him to light his fag first. There we go. How you doing, Cobbler?
G'day, Russ. How are you doing?
Not bad. Have you had a barbie today?
No, mate. I shaved the beard off it, and I feel a bit naked.
Oh, there we go.
So,
are you
but
Soucek?
I have got a cab sab going, Russ.
Oh, good man. I mean, it's lunchtime here. It's a bit early for me, but good on you, son. Are you Soucek in or Soucek out?
No, he's got to be in, Russell.
Yeah.
We can't, mate. We got to remember how good he was in the first season. He was a revelation for a while. I'm not forgetting that because he weren't the best last season, and I think maybe the role change with Declan Rice sort of didn't help him. I did think he was fatigued half the bloody season. He hasn't really had a break for about 18 months. So, no, I think Soucek's a vital part for us next year.
Mm.
Unless there was a ready-made replacement, Russ, and we got absolutely serious money for Soucek, then you'd consider it. But I don't see a reason to sell him at the moment. Even if we brought in a defensive midfielder, I think having three of them of that quality would be fantastic too. You know.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I think that the fact is, you know, obviously, I mean, as I said, Soucek's 27 now. I think his contract runs out at 2024. If they're negotiating this contract and he's not, they're not budging. It doesn't seem to be. He wants 95 grand a week or whatever, and I don't think, you know, obviously that's what we're picking up from. There's got to be a point where you go, actually, we're going to lose F all. We're going to get F all for him soon because.
Right. If it comes down to a player being greedy and wanting too much, you know, and you know, is not worthy of it at this stage, no, I don't agree. I wouldn't give in to players like that. But I don't know if that's the actual case or, you know, whether his agent just punting, trying to get him a better deal, or if Soucek is unhappy. If he's unhappy, then I'd reconsider whether to, unload him or not.
Yeah. No, you're right, man. You're right. I think it's an interesting point because I think sometimes we hang on. I think as a club, I think sometimes we hang on players for too long, and then their value goes completely, and then the sell-on value goes. I mean, you look at, Anderson, that dragged on for far too long. Haller to some degree, when it was clear that it wasn't working, it still dragged on for another few months, and you think then it's clear that he's out the door, and you know the player and anyone can get a good deal, and Ajax got a great deal, and they've made a profit. You know, because if they're selling him to Dortmund for 35 million quid, they've made about 10 million quid on about a half a seat. About I don't know, about 9 months. Was that ridiculous?
When have we ever? When was the last time we ever made money on a sale, Russ? It never happened, mate. It's never happened.
No, it never. Well, hopefully we won't find out if we sold Jared Bowen. Hopefully we won't find out. But I mean, we could do on Tommy Soucek. If we did, if the stars didn't align, then as I said, he'll probably be. I think West Ham will probably want 30, 40 million. I reckon for him. Probably won't get that because I think he's literally coming to the. He's going to start coming down a little bit in terms of, just the nature of his age. So. Even if you've got 20 million.
Was he nigh on 30 mil, was he? Something like that?
I can't remember. I'm going to have a quick look on Transfer Market. I think he was because
28's in my head, but I don't know whether that could be that could mean anything.
Yeah. Especially after the cab sav has kicked in, it could be anything. I'll give him a fiver. Give him a fiver. Fiver for Neymar. So if we assume Areola, while we're waiting for that, if we assume Areola is going to be in by the end of the month, who's next? Who's next on Kieran's list?
Cool. I know I'd like, but I think it might be unachievable. Zinchenko's a boy I've always wanted for the last 3 years, Russ.
Yeah.
And I'm just not sure he's achievable, that's all. I'd love to have him. And even if he wants to play in midfield, I'd promise him that, and then I'd play him left back anyway. And say bollocks, you're here now. But he was the boy. I like that Rahm as well, the German boy. He's a top player. I think he's up and coming. I think that boy will be big money later than what he is now. I think his money will increase. He will get better.
Yeah, that would be, by getting someone like him, that would be for me a sign of intent on that position, because.
Exactly.
We are sort of doing it. You look at say a World Cup. Zuma last year I think was a real sort of state of intent. It's like we're getting someone in who's actually sort of in his peak. He was 26.
Zuma and Aged could be the future of football for Morocco and France if they keep going to their potential, because that Aged. What I've seen, I haven't seen him play enough. I've just seen bits and bobs and pieces. But he looks the business. Now, he could be another player. West Ham could be a stepping stone for him. Who knows? That guy could go on to, greater things. But if we've got him for the next 4 years, I don't care. I think the boy could step up. I think Zuma was a quality signing. We are going that route where we're getting players that could get better and their value could go up. And I think we need to continue on that. And if we buy a left back and if we buy a left winger, we need them to be. This is like you said, this King Lewis Potter. If that boy comes good, he's going to worth a fortune. But it's worth taking a punt on if you can get him over the line. Whether he's ready to start in the Premier League this season, Russ, I'm not so sure. But
do you know? Yeah, I made a good because Hammer's headlines tonight. I made the point because actually, you know, we're sort of he's one of those players that everyone sort of heard of us being linked with. You know, realistically, 2 seasons ago he was in League One. Last season he had almost a breakout season for League One. Hull got promoted. Last season he had a good season in terms of goal return for a side that finished 19th in the Championship. So to score that many goals, I think he scored 12 goals, 4 or 5 assists, something like that, of a team that finishes 19th, ain't too shabby. But obviously we're sort of, you know, going, oh, you know, he's going to be the next one. But then I look back at Bowen. So obviously when we signed Bowen, he was he was the Ben Rama of that season. So he was always on the bench, and he was like, you know, Moyes don't bring players in, and apart from Zuma, who's got in as a starter, you know, he's come. So Bowen had to work his way through. Benny's had to do that this year as well. So I think Lewis Potter, you know, if he comes in, it would be a similar thing. I don't think they'll go right. This is it. This is it. This is the Messiah.
I think Lewis Potter would be a project, and where you had Zuma was Premier League proven, and Ben Rama and Bowen weren't. So he took his time with them, you know, and Bowen's really stood up. We're still 50-50 on Ben Rama for me, whether he will make it or not. But this is the step there is because Ben Rama was, you know, killing the Championship. The step up to the Premier League is massive, absolutely massive. And whether this young lad could actually walk straight into a Premier League team, I very much doubt. If he's a project for 1 or 2 seasons, great. I just don't know if we're going to be spending money on a project. I'm not sure we can afford.
Yeah, I think if it's one of several. So I mean, you know, we to be honest, he did spend money on Bowen. It was very much a project. I mean, Soucek obviously came in as almost as a starter. It was quite, and so did Soufal. But you know, Bowen came in as a project, as a very exciting Championship player, and I think Lewis Potter would do the same. But I think it'd be one of several. So you couldn't just say, right, okay, this transfer window we've signed Lewis Potter, because actually he's going to take time to adjust. It is. So for me, I think it's going to be it's one of several. So you know, I mean, he said he wants 6 players in, you know, including after Aguerd. So say you know, Areola's one of those. So at least 4 or 5 extra players. Lewis. Well, I think we need them. Not a case of hope. I think we need them.
Absolutely. You know, that's what I'm saying, right? The difference maybe this year is we lost 4 players off the bat, didn't we?
Yeah.
From a squad. Not necessarily first team starters, but from the squad. And possibly we're going to lose maybe 1 or 2 more. So 6, to me, is the minimum you have to bring that squad back to where it was. And remember, Areola as a signing was part of that squad. It's not an addition.
That's the thing. Yeah, it's like 1 in, 1 out, really, for him. It's like it's the mean. It's like, you know, there's no difference. It's still a net 0 because he come out and come back in. But I mean, you know, you look at it and it's like, well, yeah, I mean, me and Anton did it a while ago. You know, you had money to spend it. How would you spend it? That type of thing. But I think for someone like Moyes, it's. The thing was, he does. You know, we know he takes time to sign players and stuff like that. That's when he's bringing in 1 or 2 to bring in essence a quarter of a squad.
I know.
Really, it's going to take him even longer because he
that's
needs to
what
make sure.
Me after January, Russell, when we didn't bring anyone in, I went, well, it just made the task in the summer that much harder because you know, a lot of teams have had a bad outcomes of bringing in lots of players in one hit. And the only thing, probably, like I said before, with we didn't lose any players we've lost are not necessarily first team picks. So we really have got a starting 11 to start with. Now what we bring in is whether we replace Cresswell, whether Aguerd comes straight in, Dawson doesn't play. You know, at least it gives us options. You know, we were not we didn't lose 5 first-team players. Now we have to replace 5 first-team players. We've got
That's
the
the point.
great
Yeah,
players to come in, but we've got
yeah,
great backup then with Cresswell. If he goes to the bench and then Dawson, all of a sudden that bench is looking bloody strong, you
yeah.
know.
That's a
And
great start.
I think that's all season I've looked at our bench and just shook my head and go, God, who's going to change the game here? And the 2 goalkeepers weren't.
Well,
The
having
two the
three,
2
yeah,
kids
yeah.
weren't because they weren't going to get played. I'm going, well.
I
So
think that's a really good point. I think that's a point I haven't really thought of as much. In that you've got, as you said, it's not like we're bringing in. It's not like we're going to bring in, yeah, because I think that's the trouble when particularly when teams go up and they bring in so many new players. I mean, to be honest, most people have sort of got away with not doing that now because they know you can't gel all these players in at the same time. But to bring in,
yeah,
as you said, like 5 first-team players wouldn't happen. I mean, that's why I'm quite happy that they got a Gerd in early doors, because I think he's the one for me because that's critical, because he needs to get that partnership with Zuma as quickly as possible, because
I mean,
that's what we need to we need to work from the back. The amount of goals we conceded last year is ridiculous.
and now we've got. So beginning of last season, we started with 4 centre halves, and it was working beautifully until they all sort of falling down one after the other. But it was great to have 2 sets of centre halves to use in Europa and the Premier League. And now at this moment, we've got 5 centre halves, and they can all do a job. They can all do a job. So even Ogbonna could come back and want to get his place back, because he was our best centre half before he got injured.
He was, and I think as I said, it's one of those situations where we go in with 4 centre halves, and we think that's a good idea, and I think we ended up with 1 recognised centre half at one point when everyone was injured or suspended. But as you said, I mean, straight away, I think if we went, so if I share my screen, where's my screen? There it is. So if you go straight in now and say, right, that's let's make us small at the bottom. Actually, let's not bother. So straight away, a guy going into that side automatically, in my opinion, looks so much stronger as well. No disrespect to Craig Dawson, but I think Craig Dawson, when he was playing, meant that Zuma was out of position. And the way you can see the way Zuma holds his body, he's right-footed, so he very much wants to stay at the right foot side. So straight away, obviously you could put Soucek in instead of Ben Johnson, but I agree. For me, the areas which need some sort of improvement. Obviously, we know the forward positions need some improvement, just in terms of options. We know he's going to keep.
What's Ben Rama doing in there, Russ?
Well, I kept him in there because he hasn't left, and I think it could be Lanzini, or but Lanzini's 29 now, so I know Happy Hammeret's in the chat, but
exactly. She might not be watching, but if she is, she'll be going.
Oh, she is. Oh, don't worry, she is. Don't worry, she is. So I mean, for me, I think the left hand side is where we need to really focus our attention, realistically, on the first team, not necessarily in the squad, because I think we do need a centre mid to have as a backup to Soucek and Rice, particularly as Declan Rice obviously isn't playing the first 2 games. He's not playing the European Conference League playoffs because he's suspended. And also Mr. Moyes he's not going to be on the bench for the first game because he's suspended as well.
Well, Russ, I don't know your thoughts, but we need a left winger. We need a left winger that's actually a left winger, a proper left winger. It's doing my head in now that we throw Fornals in there, we throw Ben Rama in there, and neither of them are proper left wingers. I just love to see a left winger. I want an Alan Devonshire on the left. I want him doing. I want the same as Bowen on the right. I want on the left.
Yes.
And if we can get that player in there, that will strengthen that. And a left back, obviously for Cresswell, would be an absolute godsend. A good left back. It's very hard to find really good left backs, and if they're rare, and I'm not sure how much money we would actually spend on one.
Well, I don't know, because I think for me, it's one of those positions which, there's 2 options. One is you get someone who's, probably about 28, we get 3 or 4 years out of him, with the potential of maybe Ben Johnson moving into that. Because I think that's where there's a reason why. Although saying that, there's the speculation is that Longelo is going to be part of the pre-season first team setup. So obviously as a left back, so which is good, and obviously Harrison Ashby as well, which I'm very happy about. So it could be that they get a stopgap in. As I said, Cressy's 32, 33, something like that. So he hasn't got maybe
No.
2 years max.
Yeah, we need cover for him for sure.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not just saying he wouldn't play all the games, but
No. Yeah.
there are certain games where you could do with a bit of more youth and a bit more pace in that position.
Especially with the likes of, there's talk of Okaflex going on loan to championship sides, apparently. So, for me, I think that would be a great shout for him, because I don't think at the moment he's going to fit in the side, unfortunately. But as you said, that left side, I think that frees up Fornals to play as a 10 or to play as a second, centre mid as well. He's done that last season as well. I think that left side just to me just looks. The right hand side looks great. You've got Bowen. It'd be great to get someone as an understudy maybe to Bowen. I think we could probably have that in the under 23s. But it's that left side to me. It looks like it's aging a little bit. Yeah. And to be fair, let's put in up. Pretty much. It's going to be.
Plus, what do you think now that Aguerd has come in? Do you think there's a possibility that he could play the actual three centre halves, as we've got a plethora of them? Do you think he could go three centre halves?
He could do. Also, Aguerd can play left back as well. He has played left back quite a bit. But by the sound of the press release when the articles it was announced by the club, it's very much the centre back rather than the left-sided defender or whatever, but it was a centre back, so it could do. I mean, there's options now. The fact is, technically we still got 5. Diop's still around as well, so there's plenty there. Yeah. And then you could go to 3 at the back, and you could put then Cresswell could even fit in there as well as a back 3. Because obviously I don't like Cresswell as a left wing back. He hasn't got the energy to go up and down, so he plays at 3. But so then you've got 6. Really, you got 6 centre backs because you got the 3 of them plus Oggy.
Plus our 5 centre halves. Yeah, we got 6.
Yeah.
Well, we could go Dawson, Aguerd, and Zuma.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing, and that's what I liked about the side last season. When everyone was fit, one sub would change the whole team, would change the dynamic, where it is bringing on another centre half or bringing on even Fornals played left wing back for a few games last season. I thought he had a bloody good go at it. But bringing him in and bringing him on, it straight away changes the dynamics. I think that's what we need. We haven't really got that plan B. We've got plan A, which is basically punt it forward, contain, and then break when we have an opportunity. And if Antonio's got his scoring boots on, we win the game. If we don't, we probably don't win the game. That's basically what it comes down to, those sort of fine margins. It's having that sort of second option. I mean, I know there's talk of the signing the next Peter Crouch, the 6'7" giant from Stuttgart, but apparently that's all absolute paper talk at the moment. But I'm excited. I'm excited with what we could do next season. As you said, there does seem to be impetus for buying players. We need to buy players as well. It's not a case of nice to have. We need players in. But it does seem to be trying to concentrate a little bit of bringing some of the youth through as well, which is something we've always asked about. It does seem that might be the case over pre-season, give them a chance to shine. I'm excited for this season. I just want us to see who's going to be the next one. I'm assuming Areola's in. So it's the next one. If it is Brozier, for example, up front, or
I'll be happy. I'll be well happy with him.
Yeah,
Russ, I'll be well happy with Brozier. I'll be all of that. When you look at him, or if you go to Star or Dennis, all them boys I think can do a job in a moist team. Yes. So none of them will be bad signings. They're not top echelon signings, but they'll all be good signings. And that's what's the basis of a team. And I like watching Brighton these days because Potter's got them playing in a certain way, and they're quite exciting without having any superstars. And we can do that. Yeah. We don't necessarily need to buy superstars, but we do need at least another 5 players in. And now that Pope's gone to Newcastle, which, to be honest, I preferred Pope than Areola. That's just me.
Yeah, I did all.
And but now he's gone. We have to get Areola, otherwise we'll end up with we're going to end up with
Well, I
Johnston
think
or
no, because Johnson's going to Crystal Palace.
is he? Oh,
Yeah, he's going
right.
to go Crystal Palace, and he's going to sign a 4-year deal with Crystal Palace. So we're
What are
sort
we
of
doing then?
yes,
Why have
it's
you
like
got it done now?
I
Make a
don't
phone
know.
call. What's
I
going on?
don't. I don't know. I don't know. And also, I think Nick Pope. I think they were quite. I think we were looking. People were quoting it 30 or 40 million. I think he's gone for about 15 million quid as well. So it's not like he's gone
Exactly.
for. It's not like he's gone for a lot of money either. So
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, I mean, I like Nick Pope as well. I think he's a good goalkeeper, and I think
yeah, I'm a big fan. Yeah, I'm
he's
a
got
big
something
fan
to
of that.
prove as well. I like goalkeepers to have something to prove. You know, to be honest, Areola's well, Areola's going to go to the World Cup. Should go to the World Cup, but I don't think he's going to fight for that #1 jersey. Pope could
No.
do easily if you know Everton if what's his face has a really shit beginning of the season. You know, Gareth Southgate has put in Pope before as #1 sometimes. So
Right,
yeah,
I definitely think he's a future #1, whether
yeah.
it's this World Cup or not. He will be the future #1.
Yeah, but I think I think it's fascinating at the moment. There's just so much we can do. I think the whole thing around the World Cup really throws a lot of spanners in the works in terms of players wanting to go, players on the peripherals needing to go, needing to start really well in August as well to get on the plane for whether it is someone like James Ward-Prowse who's probably on the peripherals, same as Bowen of the squad could go. It depends about how well they play at the beginning of the season. And
Be honest,
you know,
Russ, it could work for us. Most of our players might not be going, and we could be flying in January.
yeah, that's what I mean. It's going to be so. It's almost going to be like two seasons, really. So you're
Yeah,
going to have this
isn't it?
first season up to November, and then you're going to have, and also if you look at it, there's not many top six teams are playing each other in the first few months. Because I think that was sort of a. I don't know if it's official, but I think they sort of I reckon they
Yeah,
tinkered with it a little bit, so they're not playing each other, which I don't really agree with. And then after, come Boxing Day onwards. There's the mad rush for the next. Plus, also you have in January the bloody transfer window, so it's going to be really strange. It's going
yeah,
to be a really
it's
weird season.
very strange.
So you're going to need to get a good start because you don't know what's going to happen. You don't want to, as you said, you don't want to go to the World Cup and I'm touching every bit of wood, but God forbid Declan Rice gets injured. Zuma gets injured, Areola gets injured. It could happen, and you come back and you've got to play under 23 side, and for some that will happen to some players. That will happen. I mean, we're fortunate, as you said. I think if you go through the squad, I think if you went through that 11 now, Areola will probably go to the World Cup. Zuma may do, may not do. He's because of the whole cat thing. He's on the peripherals. Morocco qualified, I think, didn't they? I think they qualified.
I did, yeah.
So Aguerd will be playing. Declan Rice, Bowen,
Maybe.
maybe. I think he probably will do. So that's 5. So say that's 5 out of the 11. That's not too shabby.
No.
You look at something like City, it'll be everyone in the City squad pretty much will be going. So, yeah, good shout.
Soucek, if he's still here, and Soucek.
Yeah, they can have a rest.
They didn't make it, did they?
No, they didn't. They didn't at all. And so
that's the result. At least he can have another rest then, can't he?
He can have a rest then. Yeah, stop moaning and start. You can just sign a contract and have a rest about it. But yeah. Oh well, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens, Kieran. I think it's. I mean, for me, I think it's. I think.
It's exciting times, Russ. Look, I
is.
don't take much notice of the transfer window and it with the bullshit and all the rumours. It's not my thing. But I tell you what, if the intent is from Moyes, I don't know if that was a direct quote from Moyes. I want another 5 or 6 players, is it, or is that just?
Well, it came from to be honest, there's certain things. If it comes from certain publications, I stand up a little bit more and take count. It came from the Standard, and the Standard are usually quite good. And apparently, it was something that he suggested, and it's like the whole thing about Areola. I mean, I said Fabrizio Romano's come out, Jason Steinberg's confirmed it. Those two are guys that I sort of not respect, but I sort of, particularly Jacob Steinberg, I sort of he's really tuned in at West Ham. So, but I think, but I don't think it's a. I think everyone is pretty bloody obvious to see. We need at least 6 players. 4 have gone out the window at the door already, and that's. I thought it was crazy with that Ryan Fredericks go. Crazy.
Yeah, I couldn't work that one out, Russ, because that's the one guy I would have kept,
Yeah.
you know, as a backup right back, you know, because he
Well,
does the job when he's asked to.
looking sort of not reading between the lines, but looking at it a bit more subjectively, I then read an article afterwards where it said that West Ham triggered the contract extension of Harrison Ashby. So clearly, Harrison Ashby is more future in him than there is Ryan Fredericks, and so you know, and I think he's going to be taking over that third place spot in terms of third right back. So I think it was probably a case of one or the other. So you know, although I'm sort of surprised we let him go. In the same way, we always want the academy and youth to come through. So for me, it's like, okay, well that makes sense. Okay, I can understand
that makes more sense, Russ. Because I'm a bit like Moyes. I don't trust the under 23s that much.
Yeah.
Right? But one boy that has impressed me is that Ashby. He does. He looks like he's a player. He looks like he could be a future Premier League player. But the others, I'm still 50-50 on, you know, whether they can step up.
Yeah, no, I think so. I remember me and Anton did a big show the other week about it, and we got like Patsy Holland and people like that talking about. And I think part of the reason is, you know, we spoke about it then, but it's just the way the under-23 league is all set up. You know, it's not like the old combinations league. It's not, so they do take longer to develop, not necessarily from a tactical sense, but from a physical sense, because they're playing with like people their own age, whereas
exactly.
You know, when you're playing it,
when you went back to the days of just having the reserves, Russ, I mean, it was in the combination league, wasn't it? And back then, I mean, half that team was full of players that couldn't get into the first team or coming back from injury. So you had, you know, likes of Bobby Moore played in it, and Martin Peters, and you know, all these players were getting their fitness back by playing in the reserves. So you had that, and he was only at probably 2 substitutions then. You know, he didn't have a bench of 8. So players who weren't picked for that squad, they went and played for reserves. And he had a mixture of the youngsters and the old pros. And it was a great grounding. It was a much better competition and a lot harder and a better learning ground for them young lads.
Well, it's exactly that. I mean, I can't find it now, but we had a clip from Izzy Ikipen, who obviously he was probably the last player to lift the West Ham trophy. Probably.
Right.
9, because that would have been, or I don't know, the Intertoto Cup, but no, okay, we'll say a proper one. So obviously he lifted the FA Cup, Youth Cup in the 99-2000 season. Was it or 98? No, it was 99. And he said, he didn't obviously make a first team appearance, but he obviously made quite a few reserve team appearances, and he was partnered in the defence against the likes of, he was partnered with Ian Pearce or Stuart Pearce, and he talks about one time that Ian, like, he said, I'd learned so much, not necessarily I could learn from a book or learn training, but it was like a game management. And Les Ferdinand, he was up against, they were playing Tottenham reserves, and Les kept on beating him for headers. And he's like, half a foot taller, is he? And he's like, I can't get it. I don't know why. I don't know why I can't do it. And Ian's like, well, just check your run there and go in at an angle. And, these type of things you don't pick up when you're playing under 23 football.
Exactly. And what I've noticed by watching some of the under 20, the pace is very slow. It's very
tactical. It's very tactical.
Yeah, and it's not. And I think that's what I'm saying. I've always said when I talked to Budgie about it, I always said, like, if you look at the Premier League as a number 10, and say the Championship was a 7, the under 23s are 4 or 5. That's the level they've got to jump. And we know from, Championship players how hard it is for Bowen and Benrahma's to crack it in the Premier League. How hard is it for an under 23 unless he's a Wayne Rooney or, an exceptional talent like Rice? It's not easy. It's not easy to break through.
No, it's not. And I think that there's a reason why those players break through, because they have something. I mean, I remember seeing Declan playing as an 18-year-old in the under-23s, and he looked like he was the most experienced player on the pitch, just because he had that. There's certain characteristics you can't train and coach, and someone like Declan Rice reminded me of he was playing centre back, and he reminded me of John Terry, the way he was commanding, the way he was like a captain.
Absolutely.
He was shouting at people, and it was just amazing.
I know you shouldn't do it, Russ, but I did watch the YouTube once we'd signed him. I watched the YouTube clips of Eggered.
Yeah.
Right. I think I say that well. Again.
Again, yeah.
And do you know he looked like he could be a defensive midfielder? That's the impression I got straight away. When that boy could play centre defensive midfield, you know?
He's got something about him, and he's got like he's a really good ball player, and you know, and they're the two of them together are what I call modern day centre halves. They're not gonna go into a tackle and, you know, like Craig Dawson would and put their head on the, you know, they're not, but they what they would is give us that sort of outlet that we don't necessarily have. You know, they can play. He can play quite well. You know, he can play. He's got a, whereas Dawson was doing those right hand side crossfield balls. He does them from the left, and I think, you know, he will improve Zuma's game as well. So it's good, man.
Yeah. And he's got a burst of speed on him as well.
Yeah, really quick. Yeah, there's a great clip of him outpacing Mbappe, which that's fine by me. That's fine by me. One of the quickest players in the world. So I'll take that all day, mate. I'll take that all day. Yeah, right, I've got to let you go because I'll get someone else on.
Right, mate. You carry on, brother.
Man. Take care, buddy.
All the best, love. Talk to you again.
See you soon, man. Bye. Right, so there we go. So 1 in, 1 out, and this out. Well, we've just got one, and then we get. Sorry, Siri. Let's get him on. I've got 5. Right, Peach. I've got 5 minutes. Yes, my man.
How do you think this is gonna go on without me coming on? Like, yo, you're tripping. You're tripping, dog. You're tripping. How is my G? How is DJ Rusty B? DJ Rusty B. How is my G, man? How's the family? How are you?
We're very
How's
well,
everything,
mate.
dog?
We're very well. How are you, man? You all right?
Yeah, I'm chilling, man.
Right,
I'm chilling.
Right, so the question is, Peach, right? The question is, are you Soucek in or Soucek out?
I'm Soucek in.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm 100.
What if there was a situation where Soucek, we get rid of Soucek and bring in Calvin Phillips? What would you do?
I keep Soucek.
Ooh. Okay, what if it was James Ward-Prowse?
I keep Soucek.
Oh, Conor Gallagher.
Oh, that's not fair.
Okay, I'll tell you one that's not fair. Loftus-Cheek.
Oh, that's not fair either. That's not fair. You push my buttons.
I push your buttons,
You
man.
know you pushing my buttons. It's like it's the red button. It's like flash. Like, yo, nah, Benjamin. No, you know what? Keep Soucek and bring him in. Like, Soucek's not on like Yarmolenko wages, and he's going. So keep Soucek and bring him on.
I think Soucek wants you know, comparable wages. He wants 95 grand a week.
I think he's worth that. I really do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's worth that. Honestly, I think Soucek is worth that, man. I really do, man. What about this? What about this? What about this? So, Declan Rice, 80 million or 150 million?
Well, you get Declan Rice is 150 million quid, surely. Anyone's money.
Come again, Mikey?
It'd be 150 million. I mean, he's not going to be 80 million, is he? It'd be 150 million. If Jack Grealish can be 100 million quid,
that's what I'm saying.
Declan Rice has more games, more game time. He's going to be a future England captain. There's no, you know. For me, I mean, I'm not even talking. I mean, for me, this summer is not about Declan Rice leaving because I don't think he's going to.
No, I know. And you know what? Declan Rice is going to leave for 200 million anyways after the World Cup when England win it in Qatar. Like 200 million, yes, please.
Wait till at least the summer because we've still got 5 months after we get back from the World Cup. The summer, if he wants to go next summer and we haven't progressed and we haven't won a cup or whatever like that, then I think everyone would sort of let him go. Because...
Okay, let me ask you this then. Let's say hypothetical question.
Yeah.
Let's say England win the World Cup.
Yeah.
Declan Rice has the performance of his lifetime, which I'm sure he will. Would you take 200 million from him in January?
I think anyone would. I think anyone would, to be honest. I think, you know, we've clearly said he's going to be 150 million quid. If you've got 150 million quid,
you get me?
That's the asking price.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's fair enough. But I don't think anyone will be in a position in January, apart from maybe Chelsea, maybe, to have that sort of money on the hip. Because you look round now, I think you the only I mean you look at City, but they could get.
Yeah,
I mean they're looking at Calvin Phillips
yeah.
as a cheaper alternative to Declan Rice.
Mhm,
And I think that's what people are looking for, the cheaper
mhm.
alternative, because Declan Rice comes with a price tag which is Premier League quality already, international quality, plus he's homegrown as well. And for a lot of these sort of more cosmopolitan teams like City, it's that homegrown thing they need to keep an eye on, because that will only get more and more as.
Yeah, I hear that.
So I think actually his value will stay at a reasonably high level because of the fact that he's a homegrown player. And I think they're looking at alternatives. So they'll be looking at bringing in younger players and bleeding them in at a later date. So look, at the end of the day, that's his price tag. If someone pays it, that's what he's worth, isn't it?
No, 100, 100. No, 100. Let me ask you this though, Doc. This is the most important thing that was said on your show today, Doc.
Oh.
Nando's or oh my God for this evening.
I did not say that, but it's on my. Yeah, it'll probably own my cod tonight. Probably own my cod tonight. Yeah.
No, I'm not saying you said that. I'm saying that
Oh,
that's the
okay.
most important question, Doc.
Oh yeah, yeah. Now that'll be yeah, it's Friday, isn't it? It's Friday kebab.
That's what
Got
I'm
over kebab or
saying.
not?
So,
Yeah.
so is the grandma coming over, like Nan coming over, getting
No,
some fish and pick
no,
up the car?
no, not
Why not?
today.
Why? What are you dealing
No,
with your Nan, Doc? What's wrong with you, Doc?
my mother.
Or Joe's
It's my
Nan, Doc?
mother.
What are you dealing with?
It's my mother-in-law. It's not my nan. It's my mother-in-law. No.
So that's okay. So it's not your Nan, but it's
No,
it's
my
what you
mother-in-law.
call it, Flo's Nan.
Yeah,
I knew there was a Nan in there somewhere, Doc.
there was a nan there somewhere. Yeah. No,
So
I think
no, you're not gonna let her come over and like stink your car up with fish, Doc. What's wrong with you?
no,
You're like
not
hating
no,
now.
not today because Joe's out tonight, so it's just me and Flo tonight.
No, you're hating, dog. You changed, dog. You changed, dog. You
No,
turned
no,
into a
no.
hater
She
of
would.
Flo's man, dog. I
No, not
agree
at
with
all. Not at all. Joe is going to see Elton John tonight at Hyde Park, so
Oh,
she's out.
wicked, wicked,
So
wicked,
she's
wicked,
seeing
wicked.
seeing the Rocket Man himself. So it's me and Flo tonight. So that'll be
Yo,
good,
those
man.
tickets must have cost like a house, dog. Straight up.
It's a friend of it's a friend had a spare ticket, so she was all right. But yeah,
Yo,
yeah.
that's
I mean,
lucky, dog.
we've seen him. We've seen a few. We've seen him in Vegas,
Yeah, I remember you telling me.
he
Yeah.
wasn't great. He wasn't great.
Do you recommend Vegas? Because I'm like planning a trip with this gal
Yeah.
that I'm talking to. You recommend Vegas, dog?
Yes, Peach. Go, man. It's
Whereabouts
amazing.
did you stay at, dog?
I've stayed all along there, but I would definitely stay. I mean, to be honest, wherever you stay, don't matter along the strip because it's only a place to rest your head. So you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You go into all the go. Even if you go like I don't know, like Bailey's or I don't know if Bailey's is still there, but Planet Hollywood, you probably get a good deal on a room,
Yeah.
something like that, and then you're not in the room anyway. You're just out exploring, man. It's brilliant. I
Well,
love
no, Bretchen, I'm going with the gal. Me and her are going to be in the room, dog. Trust me, trust me, trust me,
it.
trust me, trust me, trust me.
Peach, you dirty old man. Dirty old man.
Peaches in the building. Russ, my friend, listen, end your thing 'cause I know you've been going forever. I watched the whole thing. Listen, yo, I love you, homeboy. Miss talking to you. I
You too,
honestly did,
man.
man. Like, this
Yeah,
was my get up, get up, get up. Straight up, man.
good, good. All right, there, buddy, man. I've got to go because I've got to go do some work in a minute, man. But lovely chatting to you as
Pick up
always.
West Ham Random, though, please.
I'll big up West Ham Random.
Thank you.
If you want to listen to Peach talk,
Thank you.
if you don't know who this person is, where have you been for all your life? But Peach talks every day, 2 or 3 shows a day
About nonsense.
about random stuff. Hence the name.
There you go.
All right,
Yo,
man.
Russ, listen. Love you to pieces. Give my love to Joe. Give my love
I
to
will
Flo.
do.
All right.
Oh, he's gone. He's gone. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. All right then, peeps. It's a bit of a different show today because I thought we've done a lot of me just chatting about, talking about different rooms. I thought let's get some other Kieran on. We had Peach. We've had Australia and Canada, and I'm in Hornchurch. So that's that's quite a big chunk of the world we've had on the show already. As I said, let me know if you're watching the If you're watching the replay, good luck. And as I said, let me know in the comments if you are Soucek or Soucek out. On the premise, I'm not saying just get rid of him tomorrow, but on the premise that there's a replacement lined up. So say there was a JWP, or just to see what you mean, because I mean, it comes to a point where it's I don't know. Anton's checking. I'm checking, but I just think if a nicer model comes along, I don't know. Anyway, peeps, as I said, if you're new, Andy, give it a like, give it a comment, give it a share, give it a bloody good subscribe. No concerts. She's off to see it on John Friend and Family, as you know. That's why it doesn't cost her anything. As I said, we're back at Hammer's Headlines, 5 o'clock tonight. Check it out. Be fun. We'll talk about Areola. We're talking about Keane Lewis Potter. We're talking about Andy Carroll. We're talking about Andy Carroll at 5 o'clock. So if that intrigues you more than anything, then listen. Great Andy Carroll story coming up. Amazing Andy Carroll story. It's not about his wedding. It's about football and Andy Carroll. So check that out. It's a really good story. And as I said, tomorrow I think Anton's going to be doing one of his sort of opinion pieces, why we should sign Lewis Potter. So we'll be talking about that. That'll be tomorrow lunch, sort of 5 o'clock-ish, something like that. No, not 5 o'clock-ish. That's Hammer's Headlines. About 10 o'clock-ish, something like that. Tomorrow, it might be midday with Anton usually. And then on Sunday night, we're doing Sunday afternoon, maybe Sunday morning, maybe sometime on Sunday, we'll be doing a show about Marco Boogers, which is fun. As I said, if you've got an hour and you want to listen to some great old stories from Macca and from Crossy, we did that last night. Go and check that out on the channel. Go back and look at the last lives that was done last night. Great fun. Crossy was on good form, and Macca was on great form as well. And if anyone's going to the Dartford night tonight with Macca and Mark Ward, hope you have a good night. Wardy's obviously, that's his first show back from his double. His knee replacement, I think. So he'll be hobbling about, which I'm sure Mac will have plenty to say. All right then, peeps. Well, take care, everyone. Stay safe. Stay positive. Stay hydrated. Stay lucky. And I'll see you guys very, very soon. As always, I'd like to thank all our channel members, and we'd like to thank them at each of every one of my shows. Also, like to thank our lovely friends Untuck It as well. Next week, we're starting to do our weekly draws with Untuck It, where all the members get entered into a weekly draw and win Untuck It shirts every week. It's about 70, 80. They're good stuff, good gear. I've got a few bits myself. And also, Smudger, if you're watching, email us, please, westhamnetwork@gmail.com. You won the last members draw, which was... Talking McAvenny. There we go. It was a signed McAvenny and Tony Cottee print. You won that, Smudger. So please email us, and I can send it to you. Trini Hammer won a signed shirt last month. We'll have another one in a couple of weeks' time for the July, which will be a signed Trevor Brooking print, probably. We'll start with the Trevor Brooking print and all that good stuff. So take care and stay safe, wash your hands, and speak soon. Much love, my friends. Ciao for now.
It's like a family tree.